Dan Everett, welcome to the Data Strategy Show. 66 questions, Data Leaders Unplugged. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. It's such a pleasure to speak with you, Samir.
Yeah, likewise.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, same here. So listen, you know what it is. The format is 66 questions, rapid fire. Don't mind if you, carry on with a few, but, let's try and keep the pace. So, Dan, let's go for it.
Okay, let's do it.
Dan, what's your wake-up ritual?
Coffee.
Okay. What would you say is your biggest strength?
I don't have to be right.
What's the biggest learning experience you've ever had?
Having a child with autism.
Okay, that's big. That's huge. What's the biggest, are there any hobbies you will never give up?
Learning.
Okay. What makes you angry?
When we don't focus on the right things or the things that have the biggest impact. So my LinkedIn post, is sort of an example of that.
Okay.
Another one, and I'll just, we focus, like there's a lot of talk right now about, using renewable energy for data centers, right? But data centers make up like 2% of the total carbon or, emissions, right? But animal factory farming makes up 14%, and it's mostly methane and nitrous oxide, and methane is like 60 times worse.
Yeah.
And nitrous oxide is like 300 times worse, right? So we're not focusing on the right thing. So that makes me angry.
Yep. Good. Do you have a first memory of life?
My earliest childhood memory is my parents coming in and telling me they were going to get divorced and who did I want to live with.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Sorry. Okay.
It's what it is.
Yeah, I guess it's what it is, right? Okay. Let's jump to something more positive. What are you most excited about these days?
Neuropsychology.
Okay. And what's the best compliment you've ever received?
One of my direct reports said, "You're the first manager that I felt like really cared about me as a person." So
nice.
that's pretty far on the top of the list.
Yeah, that is. Well, now I think you alluded to this earlier. What's a cause that's important to you?
A cause that's important to me. I don't think of it like as a cause, like like climate change, or I mean, it is, but I really think for me it's about how we treat each other as people, right? In the United States, I don't know what it's like, in the rest of the world, but we've become so polarized, on different ends. The elephant and the donkey are both sitting on the ground and refusing to budge, and we can't find common ground. So,
No, I think that's important, really important. What makes you smile the most?
What makes me smile the most? I don't know. Doing my data songs makes me smile a lot.
Okay. Do you have a secret talent?
I don't know if it's not a secret.
Well, I don't know. I don't know it.
I'm wordplay, like making up different words to songs, right?
All right. Okay.
It's just the way my mind works. Yeah.
So you take a song and then you completely redo the words in a very random way, or
Well, no, like
come on, you've got to give me an example now.
I took Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll, and I made it I Love Catalog.
Oh my goodness.
That's so a great
secret talent. So you know what you should do? You should ask for songs that people want to hear, and then you should change that and reflect that in a series.
I do put in my comments when I post them on my Fun Fridays hashtag. So.
Okay, brilliant. If you weren't doing what you are doing now, what would you be doing?
I'd be in a hammock between two palm trees on a beach in some tropical area, and somebody would bring me drinks with the little umbrellas in them.
Pina coladas, I think they're called. Yeah. So what are the 3 things you can't live without?
Coffee, sleep, and internet access.
So while you're not sleeping, you've got the internet on and you're drinking copious amounts of coffee. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. If you could be, what fictional character would you want to be?
A fictional character. I would want to be the original Captain Marvel from the Marvel Universe because he had cosmic consciousness.
Nice. Do you know, I think I remember that. You just sparked something in my mind. Well, yes. And I think actually the other character that I like is Silver Surfer because he was very philosophical. Yeah. So they both had that kind of, interesting. Ah, cool. What's the last show you binge watched?
The Titans, the DC Marvel Titans.
Okay.
So over the weekend, I watched all season 3 over the long holiday weekend in the U.S.
I haven't seen it. Any good?
I like it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'm a nerdy, geeky kind of guy.
Well, even I am. I think it's rubbing off on my daughter as well. What's the most adventurous thing you've done in your life?
Most adventurous thing. Probably climbing Mount Talac, which is in California. It's 11,000 feet.
Wow.
Elevation. So
that's oof. How long did that take you?
All day.
And when did you do it?
This was a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm almost 60. I'll be 60 this year, so it wasn't.
That's amazing.
Recently.
That's amazing. Well, that's the California life, right? So you guys all look young. What did you do afterwards to celebrate? That's what I want to know.
After you climb Mount Talac,
yeah.
You have a drink and you sit in the chair and you wait for the painkiller. You wait for the Tylenol to kick in.
Fantastic. How would you define yourself in 3 words?
Kind, funny, and a little off.
Okay, I like the little off bit. What's the biggest surprise you've had this year?
Biggest surprise that I've had this year. That one I can't think of anything right now.
We can come back to it. To it. Is there anything that is currently inspiring you in the data world?
Currently inspiring me in the data world.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily in the data world. So what's inspiring me is the understanding of neuropsychology and how that plays out in our data and digital transformation initiatives, right? Which is where I'm focused my writing on right now.
Sure.
That's what inspires me because we're really tech has sort of become like the religion, right? Like tech is going to solve everything, right? But we're still people, right? And so it's that people-centered, and there are shifts going on to that people-centered view of tech. So that's what excites me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think we focus too much on that, and I think there are definitely other questions that we need to be asking about it, which we're not necessarily doing. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? While you take a lug of your water, you can think about it.
Yeah, the best piece of advice. So it's either from my dad or my mom, but I'll say my dad. And his piece of advice was, the only person responsible for your life is you.
Yeah, great wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Do you have a pet peeve?
Do I have a pet peeve? Yeah, people giving me PowerPoints that don't have any notes on it and expecting me to present it.
Shout out to all the people who work with you, back at base. Okay, they'll definitely not do that anymore. Do you remember? do you remember the moment your career completely changed?
My career completely changed. Yes. The moment my career completely changed was when I decided to teach myself SQL.
Oh, interesting. And how long did that take you? Hopefully not a day, a little bit longer than that.
It took a few months. This was when, we had modems and I had to download Oracle in 25 pieces and then put it together. And then, that was when we still went to the newspaper to find job listings. But
oh, brilliant. I love that. I used to circle big red circles.
Yeah.
What makes you feel accomplished?
The relationships that I build with people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What 3 words describe living in the US right now?
Polarized.
I thought you
opportunity.
Would say that.
And I don't know. Those are the 2 that come to mind.
Yeah.
The third one I can't.
Are you an optimist or a pessimist?
I'm an optimist. So I have a friend, you know, and we have this conversation. I tell him I'm an optimist. I believe there's a 51% chance of long-term survival of the human race. And he says, how can you be an optimist? I said, well, the default is extinction, right?
Yes.
If you look at all of, you know, so 51% of long-term survival is.
Fantastic. What's heavily played on your music playlist right now?
So right now I'm doing random things. So I'll pick some genre that I don't typically listen to, and then I'll just
give me an example.
Stuff. Otherwise, the algorithms keep sending me the same thing over and over. So I'm trying to trick the algorithm. But I like, you know, you get something different.
Yeah, like I mean, like what? What would you say is something that you're really...
So like Latin music.
Okay.
Most recently, right?
Yeah.
I can't understand the words, but I love the rhythms.
Love the beats. Yeah. Okay. You find yourself tapping your toe or dancing?
Yeah.
What 3 things are at the top of your bucket list?
What 3 things are at the top of my bucket list? To be able to look back and feel like I made a difference in people's lives. To not just make money at work, but develop relationships with people that last far beyond work.
Yep.
And to be kind to people. So a few years ago, I decided that my daily mantra is to be kind. I don't think we have enough kindness in the world.
Yeah. And were you not kind before that?
Well, at one point in life, you know, I had a stressful job and a son with autism, and my nickname was Richard, and you know, Dick is short for Richard.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yes, I haven't always been a nice guy.
It's
but
good that you can be honest about it, which is, you know, the way it should be. What book did you most recently finish?
The last book I read was 2 stories in one by Olaf Stapleton. So it was First Man, Last Man. And Star Maker. So First Man, Last Man is a future history of humanity, and Star Maker is a sort of the nature of consciousness in the universe.
Very cool. And what's the name of the author again? Sorry, Olaf?
Olaf Stapleton.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
If I could go back in time, what would I tell my 16-year-old self? I would tell my 16-year-old self that it's okay to be yourself. I've always been a square peg trying to fit in a round hole.
Okay, so just chill, be yourself, and no worries. Perfect. If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
I don't know that I'd want to switch lives with one person, but if I could be with one person for a day, Viktor Frankl.
Oh, yeah.
How do you maintain your humanity in the face of such inhumanity?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Amazing.
Very, and I've got his book
Man's
somewhere
Search for Meaning
on my bookshelf. Yeah, no, I've got it up there. Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah, wonderful book. Wonderful book. What's the one thing you've always wanted to try, but never really got there?
To play a musical instrument.
Okay, which one? Anything or?
Anything, but you know, guitar is kind of cool and it's portable. You know, you're like piano, you're kind of. But I guess they have keyboards now. But you know,
okay.
You know, I always wanted to be the rock star.
Yeah. If you had to change something in the world right now, what would it be?
I would change. I would want to. Again, this goes back to what I said earlier. I'd want to change it so that people actually listen to each other with the intent of understanding what the other person is trying to say. Not that we necessarily need to agree, but at least at least trying to listen and understand, and then maybe there's some points of agreement, right? Where we're just so polarized right now. It worries me.
Right. And I think it's just, and I think it's that deep and meaningful power of listening, right? Actually listen to what that person is saying, not just judge them in a way that they may say one word and suddenly you're off on a tangent because, it's the narrative these days.
Right. This goes back to, we want to be right. We want to be right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. And
yeah. No, I agree. If you could resurrect one person from history and put them in the world today, who would it be?
Wow. If I could resurrect one person from history and put him in the world today. Who would make the biggest difference in the world? I'm going to say Gandhi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Just the way in which he brought diverse groups together. I think that's what we need more than anything in the world right now is to bring diverse groups together and not be polarized. And I think he's a good example of that.
Okay, cool. Do you have a favorite exercise?
Walking.
Okay. What's the one thing you wish you knew at the age of at the age of 19?
Let's see, at the age of 19, so that'd have been about 1981, that if I had just taken all my college funds and invested it into the stock market, I would be retired now and I'd be in that between those palm trees in that hammock.
Okay, and that hammock and that pina colada. No, it's a good one. If you were not living in the US, where would you be living?
If I wasn't living in the US, where would I be living? I don't know. So I don't know.
Fine.
I
feel
don't know,
you don't know.
I mean,
home is
like
home.
I won the birth lottery.
Okay.
I'm a white male.
Yeah.
I was born in the U.S. At a time when the U.S. was the major economic and military power, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep. I get you. If you could offer one piece of advice to upcoming data leaders, what would it be?
Your ability to connect and build relationships with people, it will be far more important in the long term of your career than any technology that you learn.
Great advice. Where was the best vacation you've ever taken?
Wow, we've had some really good vacations, but I would have to say, so for our 25th wedding anniversary, my wife and I went to Moorea.
Where's Moorea?
In Tahiti.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an island just over the thing from, we stayed in the little bungalow over the water, the whole.
Oh, nice.
And how good how it looks. It's even better.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. What's one city you've always dreamed of traveling to?
Cairo.
Okay. I know you talked about your father earlier, but what was the best lesson your parents ever taught you?
Well, so then I'll go to the best lesson I learned from my mom was to treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Yep. Yeah. Sage advice. Do you have a favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite podcast?
On Bean with Krista Tippett.
Okay. I haven't heard of that. What's that about?
She has, it's really about the breadth and nature of what it means to be human.
Oh, nice.
She's got very different types of people on.
No, look it up. How do you relax?
Mindfulness-based stress reduction.
Okay. What is that, yoga or is that meditation?
It's meditation, but when meditation first came to the U.S., it was like a foreign term, right?
Oh, yes.
So they developed what they called mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is basically meditation, right? But they taught it through the University of Massachusetts Hospital, right? It gave it, credibility for us U.S. folks that were.
Oh, I see. They changed the name. Amazing. I didn't know that. Okay. And how many minutes a day do you do that? Or
Well, so I try and do like during the day, I take like 5 minutes and just do breath work. But on Friday afternoons, so I'll spend 2 or 3 hours. So I start with what they call a body scan. So you're just focusing on your body and how does it feel in different parts, right? And it gets you out of your head. And then once I've done that, then I kind of let my mind just wander wherever it goes.
Very nice, very nice. What's a movie that made you cry?
Aquila and the Bee.
Yeah, I've never heard of that movie.
Okay. Yeah.
What's that about?
So it's a young girl who sort of grows up in a ghetto area, but she's a fantastic speller.
Okay.
And she goes into
spelling bee, obviously.
Spelling bee competition. And,
yeah. Okay. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
My son, Max, the one with autism.
Fantastic. What can you see from your window? Obviously not Windsor Castle.
I can see trees and mountains and other houses, but I do get a view from the top floor of the mountains around where I live.
That is wonderful. That's wonderful. What's something from your childhood that you still have?
Something from my childhood that I still have. I think when I was in high school, I made oh God, my brain is going blank. But we sweep into the little pan.
Yeah.
I made one out in metal shop. I made one in metal shop. I made one in metal shop. I think I still have it somewhere.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic. I love that. I still have a shelf that I made from a woodwork shop. But yeah, it's cool. That's cool. What's a data trend that you would like to see disappear?
That I'd like to see disappear. I'm gonna get in trouble. Data mesh. Mesh.
Okay.
I like the data mesh to just
go away.
People are gonna be like, they're gonna be screaming at me. But
well, this is about you. Okay, that's cool. Now, I know you said that you listen to a flavor of music, but do you have a favorite band? Have you ever had a favorite band? I must go.
Favorite band, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I grew up with Led Zeppelin.
Now, if I had to be on a desert island and I only had the collection of one band, right, the entire collection, it would be Rush because they have such a broad, but Led Zeppelin hands down.
I don't know enough about them, but Led Zepp I do. Yeah. What's a superpower you wish you had?
Cosmic consciousness.
What's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years?
Working.
Looking back on your life, is there anything you would have done differently?
Oh, yeah, done differently for sure. I think the one thing that I would do differently is I would have worked on myself sooner, so I passed down less of my domestication to my kids. Right. Okay. What's the best thing that happened this year? Best thing that happened this year, my younger son graduated with his master's degree in data science. Wow. After having gotten his double bachelor's in data science and economics. Oh my goodness! Well, congratulations. That's fantastic. So I guess we don't. There's the clue in what he's going to be doing for the rest of his life. Yes. Which movie makes you laugh the hardest? Which movie makes me laugh the hardest? Oh, so many of them make me laugh. It depends, but okay, if I have to pick one, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Oh, fantastic. Go away or I'll taunt you again. I always like the beat, go away, you English knickets. Come back here, I'll bite off your leg. If you could teach one subject in school, what would it be? I would teach how money and finance works.
Very important. Very important. What's a skill you would say that you're currently working on mastering?
I would say, was it a skill? I'm trying to think. Skill. I'm trying to master understanding and being aware of my own neuropsychology and how that plays out in terms of things like bias and those types of things that I write about.
How difficult is that to kind of be mindful of that? How much do you need to check yourself?
It's a practice, right? So I don't know, it's like in meditation, right? They say in Zen or Buddhism, they say it's a practice, right? And you constantly have to do it, right? The trick is to just start with trying to be aware, right? Like not try and change it, but like, man, I got triggered. He said something, I got triggered. I don't know why, but I am. And maybe I should keep my mouth shut right now.
Right. Okay. So it's taking that pause and it's reflecting on that moment and then being able to actually say, okay, well, it's not me, but if I react in a particular way, then I'm going back to my old bias, habits, whatever they may be. It's good way. What 3 words best describe your leadership style?
Relationship, listening, and the truth. When I say truth, having the hard conversations, right? So if you want to build depth of relationship with people, you have to have the courage on your side to be vulnerable, right? Which is hard. And then on the flip side, you have to have the courage to actually listen to what the other person's trying to say.
Absolutely. No, that's very good. Very good. Opening yourself to somebody else's ideas and not having a moment to say it's all about you. No, I agree. What are currently your top 3 data challenges, or maybe your clients' top 3 data challenges that you are dealing with or they're dealing with?
So we have lots of exchange about this on LinkedIn, but like tying things to business value, right? I mean, at the end of the day, right, technology doesn't provide value unless you solve some problem. I think so. Not just data literacy, but business literacy, right? So, like I've said, data leaders need business literacy as much as business leaders need data literacy. And then, so I work for a technology vendor, but there's a lot of hype, right? And being way out in front of where people are. Like people are still just trying to get, like, I don't even know where all my data is. Right. Like, and then I don't even know how to like get everybody to agree that this is our definition of a customer. Right. Like we're still doing so much basic blocking and tackling, and the vendors are
piling it on.
Talking about data mesh and
I think that's always going to be the way, isn't it? Vendors will always be updating their platforms and looking for the next best thing, but I just don't think with the way that businesses are currently, very few that have been built from data up, very few can actually handle that new onslaught that happens every 5 seconds. So they are still catching up. Maybe some are still 10 years behind, who knows. I certainly have some clients that are. What's something that recently moved you?
He moved me. It was that a direct report who came up to me and said was the first manager who ever actually cared about him as a person.
Okay. All right, that's good. Is there anything, or what's the one thing that you had to learn the hard way in life?
Yes. When to expend my political capital and when to keep my mouth shut.
That will get you into a lot of trouble.
Almost got me fired a couple times.
Oh, geez. Apart from the meditation, and maybe there's different ways to do this, but how do you handle pressure in your career?
Meditation is a big part of it. Exercise, getting out and walking. I
Yeah.
try and walk every day.
Mhm.
Just moving your body. The other thing is to recognize that these things are all transient, right? The best thing about bad news is it'll change, and the worst thing about good news is it'll change.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And sometimes they're all very much made up,
Right.
Yeah. What's something you notice about someone when you first meet them?
I usually notice their eyes. Like, to me, I mean, like there's the old saying, the eyes are the window into the soul, but you can tell. It's harder on Zoom, but I think even on Zoom, right, you can tell like if somebody's really paying attention to you, right?
Sure.
or whether they're thinking about, oh, Dan just said that, and here's how I'm going to respond.
Yeah. Or they just switch off their video and say, I don't want to look at you. No, so that's a good one, actually. What's something you still like to learn?
I like to learn lots of different things, and I like to. It's sort of like a graph, right? Like, I go over here and like I recently read Ray Dalio's the Changing World Order, right?
Right.
So then it was like, oh well, let me look at some of these historical things that he's talking about, right? And then like how does money policy in the U.S. work, and what happened when Nixon took us off the gold standard and then brokered the deal with the Saudis that they would make the dollar the world reserve currency, right? So it kind of goes like, so it's not one thing. I just like to
make those different connections. I think that's important, and I think it's interesting. You know what's really funny? It's less so when you're younger. It's more so when you're, getting older. And it really is, because I find myself doing that now as well. And it's just one of those things you think, why didn't I do that when I was younger? That would have made sense. I would have learned so much more, much quicker. Anyway, listen, this is the last question.
Wow. We're 65 already.
Yeah.
Man, 65. Wait, I can retire.
What would you like to be remembered for?
What would I like to be remembered for? I would like to be remembered for the way that I treat people.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And it was actually 66 questions, because I did ask you one question about Gandhi and why you bring him back into the world. So that is 66 questions right there. Dan Everett,
right.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I really had a good time, and what a good insight into who you are and as a human being. And thank you so much for answering those in a rapid fire way as well.
You're welcome, and it was my pleasure to be on the show with you and talk with you. So
that's great.
Thank you
so much. Take care. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye.